Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Christy Campbell. I'm so pumped that you're here because today we are talking about keto for moms and specifically keto for women. By the end of this video, you are going to know how the ketogenic diet works and if it's a good choice for you. So do me a huge favor, watch all the way to the end so you don't miss any of that information, and hit that like button and subscribe button because that tells me that this content helped you and I will keep making more. And if you have questions, post them in the comment section and I will be sure to answer them. So let's dive right in. Before we can talk about if the ketogenic diet is the right diet for you, I want to break down what is the ketogenic diet? How does it work? So let me explain. So before we can understand how the ketogenic diet works, we have to talk about something called macronutrients. So there are 3 macronutrients. We've got protein, carbs, and fat. So the very first thing you're gonna know is one of the myths about keto. Now, keto, you've probably heard, is a low carb diet. That's true. Keto is a high fat diet. You probably heard that. That's true. But keto is actually a moderate protein diet. Moderate, not high protein. So we're gonna say that's a moderate protein diet. So how does the ketogenic diet work? Well, this is what's really cool. Our bodies are set up for survival. So as we evolved, our bodies had to create a way to survive during seasons where there wasn't a lot of food. So the winter, maybe famine, maybe war, these kind of seasons where there wouldn't be access to fruit, agriculture, the carbohydrates, right, starchy carbs, our body evolved to create a way to survive off of fat. So when we reduce all of the carbs, so typically a ketogenic diet is less than 30 grams of carbs and most of them are coming from leafy green plants. So if we get down all the way down with those carbs, our body does an interesting thing. Instead of using carbs as the primary source for fuel, which is what our body actually prefers to use as fuel, instead our body starts to turn fat into something called ketones and burns those for fuel. So it's a really cool survival mechanism that our body has. So is this a good diet for you? Well, it's not as simple as answering that question. So let me first say that is it a right diet for you might depend on your diet history. It might depend on if you're male or female. It might depend on your activity level, what you do. And today we're going to specifically focus on that male-female part. So they actually did a study on rats to see how the ketogenic diet impacted male rats versus female rats. And you will be interested to know that male rats consistently lost weight on the ketogenic diet while female rats gained weight, which is kind of crazy because you think it would work the same, but it doesn't. Here's a little bit of a picture of why. Female hormone cycles are different than men. Females' bodies actually cycle hormones throughout the month for reproduction, right? So our bodies do not respond to the ketogenic diet in the same way. So let me break it down a little further for you. So the ketogenic diet has a lot of medical implications, right? They use this diet to help people with seizures, to help people with epilepsy, to help people who have certain kinds of cancer. Why is the keto such a craze right now that everybody's adopting it? Well, we've been told that it's actually good for our hormone balance, that by eating a super low carb diet and a high fat diet, that your blood sugar is going to be more stable. And on the surface, there's some facts about that. If you reduce a lot of processed carbs and reduce extra sugar, you are going to see improvements in your overall health and nutrition. But maybe the ketogenic diet takes it too far because removing all sources of fiber, like think about the fibrous vegetables that are not included on a low carb diet, some of those starchy fibers, the things that are in some whole grains, those kind of things are not included in the ketogenic diet. Well, fiber is actually important for hormone function. And here's another reason why the ketogenic diet might be a question mark for females. So female bodies respond to stress differently than males. And remember how I told you that the reason that the ketogenic diet was kind of cool was because it was a survival mechanism? We actually can respond to stress by changing modes of how we create energy for our body. Well, think about that. That means your body is experiencing a type of stress when you decrease carbohydrates down to almost nothing. So what does that mean? Well, the stress hormone is called cortisol. And when your stress hormone goes up, cortisol goes up, it makes it far more difficult to lose weight. You actually retain weight in your stomach when your stress hormone's up. So it's interesting to think that females' bodies experience a low carb diet as more of a stressor and then start to make adaptations. Now, one of the other things that's interesting about female bodies is that reproduction is sort of a luxury, right? The reproduction happens when things are good, when hormone balance is as it should be, when we are not in famine, war, crazy times where our bodies sort of change. So the ketogenic diet signals to our bodies that something is going on. And a lot of women experience hormone disruption. And we hear about the ketogenic diet as something that is just a great way to lose fat. But if you are considering this and you're a female, you should have a conversation with your doctor about whether or not this would be a great choice for you. Because if you already have a condition like PCOS or another autoimmune condition where your hormones are impacted, or a thyroid condition, then adding the ketogenic diet in may make matters worse. And so you want to talk to your doctor about that. And if you are a woman who is in that premenopause or postmenopause stage, adding the ketogenic diet may be good. One of the studies that they did on mice show that once they removed the ovaries from the mice, that the female mice experienced more fat loss than the ones who didn't have the ovaries. But it's similar with the stress hormone. Regulating your stress balance is one of the most important things you can do to minimize hormonal symptoms. And if we are adding cortisol into the picture for the sake of fat loss, it might not actually be helping you. So let's bring it back home, because I know I talked a lot about hormones and thyroid and all of that kind of thing, but at the end of the day, here's the truth of it. Ketogenic diets are a nutrition protocol that can be applied to people with certain medical conditions. It can also be a lifestyle choice from someone who no longer wants to eat a certain way and plans to eat low carb their entire life. Those are legitimate reasons to use the ketogenic diet, but using it for fat loss may be hurting you more than it's helping you, especially if you're a woman, because chances are, if you're like any of the women that I know, you already have your fair share of stress in your life. You already have juggling kids, juggling work, juggling house stuff. Maybe you're juggling dogs and sports and everything under the sun, and stress management is already something that is slowing down your progress anyway. So adding the ketogenic diet can maybe have a couple of negatives. That stress hormone, like we talked about, cortisol stress, it may also impact you because you are not planning to stick with it forever. And here's the truth about the ketogenic diet is that it is a very restrictive lifestyle. You are removing an entire category of food. Well, you probably saw Jenny from the gym or Sarah from work do it, and you were like, hey, they lost 40, 50, 60 pounds on keto. I can do that too. Why not me? But the question is, are they seeing those results long term? Because most people that I know do not plan to keep carbs out of their diet forever. So once they start to add them back in, that weight will come back on. Another really funny thing about keto is that we are really smart. We tend to take the things that we like to eat and reintroduce them back into the ketogenic diet. So let me explain how this works one other way. Not only does lowering your carbs impact your blood sugar, which can contribute to that initial weight loss, but really what you're doing is removing food. So think about it this way. If you used to go out to a restaurant and you used to get pasta and salad and a piece of chicken, and now you're doing keto, so you're like, well, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to have the pasta, so I'm gonna have my salad and my chicken, and that's what you eat for dinner. You just did it, right? Like you removed processed carbs and extra calories. That's what you did. So by removing the extra calories, your body starts to lose weight. Well, you apply that over a series of meals. You have a really simple plan you can understand. I'm removing carbs. I know what to do. Now I'm eating less calories. I'm eating less food, so I'm losing weight. But like I said, long term, does this work for you? Most people, it doesn't. And here's why. Because you miss the pasta, you miss the chips, you miss the brownies, you miss the lasagna, you miss the cinnamon buns. And so all of a sudden you start looking for keto brownies, keto pizza, keto lasagna, keto cinnamon rolls, keto, all the things that you see available at all the stores. So you bring those things back in your diet, calories go back up, weight loss stops, but now you're in trouble because remember the hormone discussion? And now you've added those calories back in, you've added the stress hormone in of cortisol, you've decreased your body's ability to burn its primary desired source of fuel, which is carbs, and now you've added calories back in, which is all a recipe for weight gain. And nobody tells you this when they talk about keto. It's all like, yay, get some ketones and yay, go low carb and you're gonna do it. But I am here to give it to you honest. And this talk today, even though I've hardly used the whiteboard at all, is just to give you some more information. Is the ketogenic diet right for you? I don't know. You need to think about, is this something that you plan to stick to long term? Are you already managing stress in all the other areas of your life? Have you had a conversation with your doctor about your hormone health and how going low carb will impact your hormone health? Have you considered how you will incorporate the treats and the things that you like into a long-term sustainable plan? If the answer is no to those questions, then I do not recommend the ketogenic diet for you, especially if you're a woman, because you have more to lose in terms of your hormone balance. Our bodies are built for survival, but they will adapt to the things we do. And so we have to protect them and not cause that hormonal stress. So I encourage you to consider all of those questions. And if you can say yes to all those questions, yes, you've talked to your doctor. Yes, you have a plan for long-term success. Yes, you know you want this to be a lifestyle. Yes, you have a plan to how to enjoy food still and stick with your ketogenic diet, then by all means do it. This is a zero judgment conversation. It is just meant to give you information that you can use. And so, like I said, I'm so glad that you stuck all the way to the end. I feel really excited to give you this information. And if you have more questions, I want to answer them for you. So be sure to post them in the comments below. Ask a question. If I don't know the answer, I will find out for you. Because at the end of the day, giving you tools for how to eat a diet-free, sustainable lifestyle so you can lose weight and feel your best is what I am about. It is why I'm making these videos, and it's why I coach. And so thanks for plugging in. I will see you next week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.